Du kommst heute Abend ganz normal? Süße? Du kommst heute Abend ganz normal?
Ja.
Machen wir heute Abend was Schönes? Hm? Hm? Weißt du, was wir Schönes machen könnten? Ich könnte. Was? Oder ich könnte ein schönes Abendessen-Picknick vorbereiten. Und wir schnappen uns einen Emmy und fahren an die Isar, und zwar ein bisschen südlich, da wo wir mal waren, Richtung Grünwald. Da sind wir ja eine Viertelstunde mit dem Roller.
Da wo gegrillt wird, oder?
Da wo es bisschen weniger los ist schon, meinte ich. Also so auf Höhe von Harlaching.
Okay, ja.
Also ein bisschen
Können wir
südlich
noch mal
schon.
schreiben, ich komme auf jeden Fall mal heim. Ne?
Südlich von Thalkirchen. Könnten wir einen schönen Abend verbringen. Das ist ein schöner Sommerabend.
Ja, aber nicht immer so traurig einen Vorschlag machen, so mitleidserregend, das mag ich überhaupt nicht.
Okay, wie dann?
Einfach normal sagen.
Okay.
Ich überleg's mir, aber klingt ganz gut. Tschüss.
Good morning. All right. As you see, I made some changes to my hypo as the market now was building value a little bit higher as well. That means filling out the this low volume node. If you have a look here at the 15 minutes, you see that here was some low volume node and low volume area around here, which got filled out now by the pre-market. That means here in between 174.17 and 174, 27, 26, 27, 28, there's value build. Now we testing with the open now this range and looking here that we're right now at this area. So the first thing is I'm also gonna look here for the range long. It's a good risk reward. And waiting now for responsive buying. We see the first rejection here, and now I want to see a retest and buying again. Then you can put close a tight stop. That's okay. Then if you got stopped out, it's only a few ticks, 3 or 4. And on the upside, we have some at least. If we get in at 18, 6, 7, 8 ticks chance. All right. So let's wait. Right now, you see in the footprints they haven't tested the lower area yet. means they are not haven't seen the signs of rejection yet. It can be fast then going if they don't decided not to sell anymore into it, and they would go up. But that's not the trigger then for me, because then I had to go in with the 22, and this would be too far away from the 17. That means risk reward here would be only 5 to 5 risk, 5 chance. So that's not good. In my play, I'm only have to wait for my cheap entry in my trading system. So most of the time they do taste it a second time, and only then if I see stronger buying rejection, I have this little advantage, this edge that may can go on my side with my direction. Okay, here we go. Right now, the thing is, there is a chance now I'm in this trade, but you always see that there was still trying people to push lower. So this can happen all the time, and that means they're interested now in going lower. But you see also the rejection signs, and therefore we wait for the prices coming a little bit lower. You want to see that they really want to pull it again and again. And now my target is here in the range market, now the 25. That means they first have to go below this, above this low volume node at 23. Okay, you see this here, 23. There's this. Oh, sorry, you don't see it. You see this here. This is this low volume node, and of course they have to go below it. If not, maybe they use their strength here to go lower. But right now I'm in this position, and I'm just waiting. Market will pay me or not. It's important is that you can say that this is a good trade or if it's a lousy trade. Now, good trade is if you use your trigger, you measure your risk reward, and then you enter the trade. If you're then having a loser or a winner, isn't not that important. I mean, of course, someday you want to make money, and but if you're just using the system and knowing your edge, that sometimes you just get paid and sometimes you're not. And that's totally okay. Right now we don't know. I entered here at the 19 after see here this rejection, see here in the delta, whoop, and then the aggressive buying, and you see that they provide then liquidity. I show you in the footprint as well. I pull my stop now a little bit closer, which was at 15. Now I pull it to 16. That means this is the actual low. And you see this here, this green little rectangle. This is order book liquidity. It was provided in the moment when they retested the low and then started to buy market here. And they also provided liquidity at the bid. That means they want to go in passively, and there was some kind of strength. So that's the sign for me. Then I entered here. I didn't want to pay a more expensive price than 19 for entering to have a close stop. And right now I put my stock here to the 16. That means either now I got stopped out at the 16 because I'm not going to change the stop as long as we don't see a second drive to the upside. If we see then a second drive and they fail to hit the target at 25, then it's for me, and when I see the drive to the upside and in that moment then I pull my stop very close or to the entry level, because then there's two phases of impulses, people buying and have risk in this book, and then if they fail and cannot reach the 25, whereas obviously right now my target, then okay, then they failed and they couldn't have the power to even make the side. Now we see the second. See, this is the second try now. 232 contracts, 35. I want to see now at least make it to the top again here, and then I pull my trigger. Now I pull my stop to 0. This means entry level, we made a new high. This means I'm at 19 on scratch. That would mean open at 19. If I got stopped out, I just don't get any money. And my target is the 25, because this is obviously, here you can see it, the higher POC, the higher volume edge where I'm trading to. So let's wait. Either I got paid or not. Alright, as you can see now I got paid. The idea was, big picture, again, we see market provided new value in the pre-market session with the strength. That's why I choose then to add to my hypo number 1, as I showed you before. Hypo number 1, not only at the 17 area, but now also look for the acceptance. We had 17 to 28, that means add to hypo 1, also looking for range long at the 174.17. This is then what happened. Again, I show you in the footprint. We see that they test the low. We see this in this area here. They tested once. They tested. This was the second time. I'm going a little bit back now to show you again. Here you see they test the first time the low here, the edge, volume edge, and we see at least some buying. But this is only maybe people going out of their short positions, because it was with the open there was some attempt on the downside. Okay, this means this is only the first rejection. I only want to see double rejection. Then they even closed again, pushed again more hard to the downside. And so this was not the sign yet to enter. But then this happened. Normal selling, in decrease of selling on the downside. At least you see 74, then 29 and 4. This could have been even 20 again or 30. This would mean that there's no hard. This means this was the more second try on the downside. And then you see here, they pulling in liquidity. This green rectangle is the provided liquidity at this time. And also then 277 after 425 people sell again, absorbed and buying, active buying. That means you have to be quick. Then I entered and you see that they took out my target, and now going back, because this was the goal that was made the most sense for me, as there is the next volume edge and we want to trade from inside to outside. This means also in the best case, first is the POC and then the second is the next volume edge, which was the 25. As long as they now staying here at the moment POC 22, there's a high probability that they even reach the 27 area. So that means if you're handling maybe more lots, then you could take this trade like this. You open up the first position and you open up you open a lot with 2 positions, or you open this with 2 single lots. If you have some other player where you already anticipated earlier here and then again here, or you open up just 2 at once, like here, like me did, but only with 1 lot, only 1 position on contract. And then you take your first target, which was at this time reached, and stay within the trend as long as they keep on holding above here this POC. What you see here in the footprint, you see they provide again liquidity, you see they test in deeper, but the 158 contracts sold into the bid, hit into the bid, was absorbed. You stay now within, and you see the next target now in this window here. You see the volume edge and the overnight, high, this is then not only the 25, but it's also the 27 area. So you would have stand then in this trade because you see the signs, and now you wait just to get filled. You can pull your stop now to whatever now they tried again to the 20 or 21 or whatever. You paid, this is house money. You don't care, okay? And bam, now they hit the 27. You would not get filled yet because they only traded 61 contracts into the 27, but you just would stay then in the trade and wait and wait. Now another contracts got traded. You still wouldn't be filled now. They tried again. The overnight high 27 would be the target. Let's assume this again, because this is really the higher volume edge of this micro consolidation from a value. You stay in this trade because you're paid. Either you get a zero trade or a few ticks, or you get the second, and then you have another 8 ticks. And got filled. Now they traded, even made some contracts into the ask and to the bid again, 45. So you got filled at this moment, and this would then how you handle this with 2 contracts. All right. Actually, this is one of my favorite plays. This is one of my favorite plays. That means we see acceptance, we see a range. And as markets are in 80% in balanced mode and not imbalanced, also the Bund is 80% of the time, all of the time is a balanced market or more or less balanced. That I discovered for myself. Of course, you cannot have only the trend plays, but which I'm not a super trend player. I mean, I'm not that afraid anymore to take on the trends, and I know that is a very important thing. But if what would you say? I mean, in terms of that there's 80% of the time a balanced market, then you should have also good scalping plays for the balanced markets. And this is my favorite play. That means I don't get every of those trends play of this range plays. But I like to see that they push lower and got rejected twice. I see this wonderful with the delta and the ask-bid difference bars, which is also the delta. And this is one of my favorite plays where what I'm playing. And you have to find out what matches best to your personality. If you're more like scalping or some intraday swings or even swings or longer positions. And you have to find out what fits best to you. And for me, it's the mix in between scalping and intraday swings also, because this is what makes the most sense for me. And I don't get this plays all the time, because sometimes there's only one rejection and then they quick start and prices running away. Then I don't get the entry. But the cool thing is, in I say 60% of the time, they making some double tests because they wanna try to get retail traders and other traders to get into this short, because people think, oh, they're testing low, okay, this is a short, then people get into the short. And you have to think, when you go short, you're providing liquidity for the one who want to get long with a bigger amount of contracts. So this is what they have to do. This is some kind of fishing liquidity with the people that are not so good prepared and so got in trading. And yeah, and this, imagine that this would be already a range longer, not only this time here, but this would be already a range for a long time. In this case, I'm not sure that I would have got this long here, because there maybe was only this one rejection here, and then the second absorption and then rejection of buyers already came here. That means price were already 4 ticks away from the best entry area. So in this case you don't get it, but look at this. This was wonderful. Testing once, even go lower. Even though at this moment I don't know if this is going to be then the short trade because they're about to leave, but there's one thing you have to know. Is there a short trade prepared in my big picture preparation? No, right? I haven't prepared it because I'm not gonna look there, but then there is either no trade or I see this wonderful thing happen, rejection again, at this moment trying to push lower, at this moment you see then it got sucked in, and then people are going provide liquidity within a second, and then also buying. You have normally, if you're expecting this to happen, what it's have to look like. Don't mistake that with you're expecting it, then you go for it no matter what. But you're expecting what it have to look like, and then if you see it, you have to be quick because you normally have about 2-3 seconds then to go in. At the beginning, that feels like damn quick. All right, it feels like it's so quick because you're maybe not emotional, clear, and then there is something going through your mind, your physical sensations, your thoughts, your emotions. This will block you. You will not able then, and you're emotionally on some exhausted kind of stage, or in the other extreme in a overconfident stage. Doesn't matter, but either way is not good, and then you cannot trade it. But in this case, when you train this is going to be really simple, all right? And someday you will laugh and say, okay, now at the moment when I became more clearer in trading, then I see that this is not the problem to get then into it. And you then also expect that you don't have to have expectations if it's then going to be a winner or loser. Your only expectations is on you for the trade, before the trade. Will I be clear in mind, and then will I take on every trade as soon I get my trigger and in context to the big picture. Then you just take on. And then you give up. You have then your stop handling, okay, you have this in control, you have your profit management in control, but the rest, and this is most of the thing, of the material is that you're not having in control. And that's if it's going to be then a plus, or if you're providing, as I say, liquidity to the market. But that's totally okay. And like Mike Douglas said, you don't have to be in trading to make money. You don't have to know if it's going to be a winner or if you're providing liquidity in terms of making money. You just have to be aware of the things you can control. And then you have to make a difference in your thinking and creating new behavioral patterns in your brain that fit to your trading, because your normal life emotions will not provide the informations you need then for trading. This game of statistical, as I say then, is a difference to the normal life, and it's so hard to accomplish, because your train will say if you're about to lose, you will get double as much, twice as much pain as you get for a winner. You cannot resist, you cannot go, this is a natural thing, which is proven by the modern neuroscientists. And that's the thing it is. So you only can build new behavioral patterns to be without these emotions, this naturally coming of heavy pain because of about to lose, or if you have lost a trade, then the pain, and not be clear for the next trade. You have to accept this. That's the only thing, and that's the only really hard work then you have to work on yourself, on your inner self. And then if you can become then later in a clear trading mindset without these emotions, then it's gonna be much easier. In my term, it was like that. I was always looking then for the better setup, for the setup where I don't have to take on that much risk, and even less risk, and I found myself not taking on the trades anymore. I didn't take on the trades I prepared. Or if I prepared the trade and I took them, I then take the profit too quick. And that means the thing that I could control, first, to execute when the trigger appears, and then managing the trade means let them run as long as it's in the green area. Those two things were only impacted by my emotions. That was not technically After the trade, I always see, technically, everything was okay. Moment. Order book, everything was okay. But reacted on maybe some nuances in the order book or the tape. That means emotions were responsible, in my case, for not making money. Because in my trade analysis, you see, technically, 80% or 70% of my trades would have become the winner where I measured the target area to. This is hilarious. And I tell you what, you can do this for month and month and month again. And you're looking then for maybe a new play. In my terms, I was a little bit more grounded because I had my playbook, so I didn't switch from one to another. This was my early stages and 2 years ago, but the last 1.5 years, I was working really hard every day with playbook, also a little bit psychological. But as I then checked that I think that I have everything in control in my psychological stage and my emotions, I was proven that I was wrong. Because then, after testing trades, I recognized that this wasn't the right thing. There had to be something that was in control in this short time period of execution phase and management. We're talking of the more scalping or intraday swing, short term. My trades normally about 3 to 20 minutes, okay? And I say, why can this be? My playbook is good. My play seems really good. Quite good. My big picture operation was it's now a really good level. I mean, you can prove it every day where my hypos is. You see what the market plays. In 90% of the cases, market plays one of my hypos, means you just have to be ready in this activity zones and then read the trigger and then develop a play. And you don't even have to copy my plays, because this is what every market participant then plays. If it fits to this, what people see, then they play their kind of plays, but everything, as far as I could see, was good, but not the results. I mean, I wasn't losing the big money. I was always on a curve around the zero sum, all right? One day I made 60, then made 80, made 30, then I made 100 minus. Then I made 30 plus, 50 plus, maybe 60 minus. I was always, for a month, about a little bit plus, some minus, some plus. I was swinging around the zero, sometimes a little bit. So this was very important for me because I was in control and I'm a very disciplined trader, all right? Because of this, I could swim already with the market and didn't lose money anymore. But at the beginning, say August to 16, as I started with CFDs, before I went to the school and make my certified derivative exam at the Deutsche Börse at Eurex, then I started to be developing this discipline. But I haven't started in my school where I was to become or got trained in developing the trading mindset. And this started way later. This started in July, August last year, 2018, when I started with Mike Bellafiore's book and Mike Douglas. And then I started, okay. And that's very, very important. Work on your trading mindset. And, oh, this bread will kill me. Let me get some coffee. Sorry. Yeah, and this trading mindset to develop, I can tell you it's not easy. It depends on your behavioral patterns. But that's why a lot of people don't want to confront them with their inner fears and everything. That's totally normal, and I'm not going to blame you for that, because that's the most important thing for trading. If you don't want to confront yourself with your inner fears and everything and try to build a new mindset and so on, then trading is the wrong thing for you. And I'm totally happy that I understand now that this was the right decision to spend time, and still spending time with psychological journal, and that's the real thing. And I know if I fail working on this and stop working on this and going back to old behavioral patterns, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fall down. I'm so gonna be in minus again. I'm so gonna out of control again. I will be the worst trader. You better not watch me anymore. I'll just be honest. This is all about, and I know for all my trading life I have to work on this. But of course, it's much more easier than once you started and being in control and then trading new behavior patterns. But never get too overconfident and accept this. All right. Look now at the 15 minutes. You see that they now building here value. We stay in this and price now going back again to this area from this to morning session. And now the same game. As the delta push downwards is not super heavy now from this range, that means we are highly expected in a range. They can push lower, they can test the lower side, they can fall back into the lower range. That's no trade for me. I'm not looking for the short side, but I'm also only going for the long if we see clear signs of a double rejection. And right now they push even a little harder into the short direction. I'll show you here in the footprint. See this here, increasing volume, increasing, selling. We're now in a new situation. Now we have a increased volume situation into the range low. This is now something new. You may remember this from, I think we had this situation 2 days ago. This is the moment when I'm not only looking for a double, but even for a triple rejection, because we need to see first people going out of their short. This means we would see some green tape or some green delta stick here. Then we want to see a retest and then some buying and holding and then a third time buying. And if you're lucky and this happens all in this area, then you can go for the long, but not before, because right now people are more in the risk on the short side. That means if somebody is playing the short and staying below and volume was increased, we want to see more signs of rejection. So just see yourself if you can spot it, and if you would trade this then at a range long again, or if you say, no, this is more the short scenario, but in my case, I don't take on here the short. What of course then means that in this case, then you just stay flat and do nothing. All right. Okay, you see this? They push lower the second time. And now there's more risk in the books on the short side. So if you want to go for the long, not before, now what you need to see then, would they kick the ass, that they kick the ass out of the sellers really hard, okay? This would be like a really hard rejection now from buying, bang, 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 bang. Only if you see then this, because if there's so much energy already spent, it have to be the opponent side have to be even stronger now. But this would be a wonderful sign if they kick their ass and beat the shit out of them, the sellers now, then this would be a good sign. But as long as this not happen, it's more the buyers on the short side. And if something in between happens, no matter, then you don't have a trade, even though price running then in your favorite direction to the upside. But you have to go with your trigger, because this is the thing you have to control. You can't say, oh, okay, maybe. And you want to say this, that they beat the shit out of them. Sorry for my language, but you know what I mean. I mean, we want to see hard rejection out from buyers, because then they know if they're so strong, the buyers now, then, the sellers are trapped. The first signs looking good. The first signs. You want to see some more? Oh yeah, there is. Oh, okay. All right. See what I meant? Sellers were trapped. Buyers were bigger. But what happened? Did I get this trade? Did I get it? No, I don't get it. It was too fast. It was too fast. All right. See that sometimes you really have to be really damn fast. I know there are some good traders, some supreme traders. This would get this trade here within a blink. And then they have a good price, and then they can react if they're now coming back and still coming back, interested in selling, then they're having a good price. But you see that? They were trapped. That means the second attempt here on the downside. This wasn't a easygoing attempt. This was some kind of selling into it. So this was a lot of risk then in it. And then if they strong on the bias, what you see here then, at this moment, price was already pushed to the 18 area. This was too expensive for me. Maybe we get a chance now for a pullback to the 16, 17. Then there's a good chance for a re-entry with a tight stop at the 13. That means a 3-tick risk, and on the upside at least a 7 ticks to the POC. And the volume edge 24. But this retest now have to be going without a big pressure in selling. Right now, this is giving. This is not big pressure in selling, okay? You see this in delta. This was the energy into it, and now we have only this little bit selling into it. But beware, if the selling increases and getting stronger on the way to the downside, this is a clear sign of strength then. And right now, that hasn't happened yet. Means we are in a second chance entry area. Okay, they already tried to play. Again, the upside, I didn't get filled at the 16, and now I deleted my buy order. Why? Because I see that they already trying to play the upside again. So that means I don't want to see prices now coming back, because then they would have failed to extend and go back to the POC again after they rejected the low. So this means that I just didn't get filled at this moment here. I didn't get filled at this moment because my buy limit was here at the 16, and now see that they already tried to play again the upside. And now I don't want to see it failing and coming back. This is a conservative approach, but remember, my favorite play would have been this here. It went too fast. I didn't get the price. My second entry was then pullback, but they didn't reach the 16, but I also not want to go in now at the 18 level, because this is too expensive for me now for the range long, because we're too close to the target. Is it simple? Yes. But you have to be clear in mind. If you're not, you may be jumping after it and say, oh, I want to get this trade. Wow, I want to get this now. Okay. And so this is my decision based on it, and I can live with it. No matter what's happening now, I'm just now staying flat, because this is too much danger for me. Alright, same game. You see that the advantage on the sell side, there was that little advantage on the bear side, and that's why I didn't get into it again. But now, same game. We see that there is ongoing selling pressure. And if they can prove they are right, the buyers, the bulls, now I want to see another rejection here on the downside. Right now, a double rejection would be enough for me, because we already know that also the sellers who get their second chance here, their second chance to get into the short. Oh, sorry, I'm at the wrong window. See, the sellers got rejected, then see their second chance from this selling approach here from the POC below the VWAP, and now trying to push lower again. But see the delta divergence already. That means we have signs of a first rejection. I want to see now rejection 1 and 2, and then I would try to get into the long again, because then we can be sure now this would be then a double test of the downside, and only then we knew that the sellers cannot take it lower. That means only very short time traders, and they don't have then the power. But we need to see the sign. Before we see the sign, they are in control, sellers are in control. And if they stay in control, they may then test the price here around the overnight low. We see this absorption phase in the morning when they made a pullback. This was the 08 area. This was the first long from my first hypo one. Before they built the value in the pre-market, I said this is then the other thing to watch, this area around the 6 to 8. Now beginning even at the 10, because there was the overnight low. But we want to check this area here, the level about 08. If they make it go lower, then we want to see here some double rejection or some double bottom, but we want to see this rejection signs. Then we have a good chance the prices going at least up to this low volume node again, and if they can stabilize above it, then even we going back to the POC. At the moment, POC at the 21, and you see that right now sellers still in control, but also some first signs of a rejection, but not a rejection we want to see for a long. Also, we made a tick lower low, so that means this scenario for looking now, going on looking for a long is now over. I don't look for any trigger, doesn't matter what happens now for this long anymore, because they made even a lower low, and we even touched this smaller distribution area around. So this is not the best risk reward. Better be patient and wait that price is coming back, coming here to this 807, 809 area, and wait for the reaction here. And one can always see that they build some value around here, some volume, not super, but there is some. All right, now we're on the phase where we want to see that there is now rejection at this edge. We reached the overnight low. We're still having some short-term short volume here. We see that people get out of some positions, but you see that its delta is still is red and the tape is still mixed, and there were only two guys or two people buying a little bit bigger. That means if you now going in here at the 13 with a low at 11, this would be a cheap price, but that's not the kind of rejection I want to see. I want to see them coming back a little bit more and then providing liquidity and buying again. You see delta continues to stay still staying red, but the price rises. We're having a divergence, but thinking of it, this is not the sign I want to see. Even though this could work out and we're going back then, that's not the sign I want to see, because that's just not my trigger I used to and I know them to handle. If in my case, I just want to wait that prices go a little bit back and want to see then the rejection continues. Only little or no interest anymore here in selling, but also in buying. That means they got up, they rejected here a little bit, then they bought even 148 into the 15. This is the value wasn't shifted completely. That means this could still become a normal distribution right now. That was also possible that there's more selling now, that this becomes the value shift to the downside. Then we would have a bearish imbalance, okay, that this would be at the moment POC, and then there would be the chance that prices even test the lower region around the 5, 6, 7 area. And that is the reason right now here in Delta you see that I'm not into it to trade, because I haven't seen just the signs of rejection I want to see. I want to see that people going out of the short, and then we can talk about this range long, not before. DAX is also ranging around, closed the gap from the cash hours and is ranging around here in between the 1260, 360 to 1200, 12,380 area around, and it's on its way up. And the Bund is still not on finished, but now there's liquidity provided. Yeah, that's now some first signs that this may work out on the long side, but only first signs. I want to see rejection. I want to see that then some buyer coming in, and this must have happened in a lower region. So that means if it's not happening lower, then this had also already happened here, but with the weak signs. And even though this can work out, I'm not going in with only weak signs. So without me, this trade again here, without me. And you have to check yourself, your emotions now. Is this okay for you? Or are you getting nervous now? And see how responsive they are selling again once they entered this region here. They do sell again. You see this here in Delta. They take profits very quick, and they know that the sellers are still in control, provided here from this little bit bimodal distribution area. So that's what I mean. This is not the strength we have seen on the downside. This did not let me go in, and to see they are also a little bit having trouble now. I'm not very confident. There's still some absorption. So this is just not very nice from the trigger. Even though risk reward is of course good around getting into this trade around here. And then we have a very good risk reward, but you see that they're having trouble. And buyer just have to show that they're really able to kick the ask and go higher. What they try to do now. Yeah, and I checked it again and made some quick analysis, but still was thinking about this this trade opportunity, but I'm still coming to the conclusion that there was just no trigger, because see the self again, delta, 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 low, 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 no big rejection. Here there was a one sign of a rejection here, which was observed first, but this was number one. And then number two, you can turn it and interpret it as you want them. But for me, technically, this was the moment where the sellers really gave up and they closed their position and some buyers coming in. And the problem was just at this moment, you could have gotten in at the 16 around. And come on, I mean, from the 11 to 16, and if, you would have needed a 5 tick stop, and on the upside you only have a 6 tick chance. Yeah, that's close to what it's okay, but yeah. You may say, I don't know. For me, I always looking for at least 1 5 to 1 or 2 to 1 risk reward. This was more a 1 to 1 risk reward, so then it's not okay. No, I'm stay with this. There wasn't the trigger I want to see. By the way, the Italian consumer confidence rises. Yeah, better than expected, 109.6 and now got 113.4. Manufacturing expected was 100.5 and now 100.1. So almost no chances, but a little better consumer confidence. And yeah, all right. So no more numbers. No more regular economic numbers this morning, but then 2:30 Central European Summertime, this is the US. The US numbers, very important, 2:30, and GDP numbers. And it's previous 3.1 and forecast is 1.8. But only 2:30 afternoon, all right? Okay.
All right, fellas. Let's have a look onto the chart. I tighten it up a little bit. So we're now at the beginning of the pre-market distribution. That means our 08 level finds some technical reactions, even though they traded through at the 05. But you see then here in the data, we find some rejection, and now we need to see that selling proved isn't that hard anymore. Right now selling is proof that it is at the beginning of not being so hard anymore. And again, the level where the most liquidity already is set was, again, you see that they also accepted my area here, this distribution edge from the pre-market around the 08. The question then is, do you look now for either the A long, the range long play here, or do we wait that prices are going back into the main distribution from today? Both plays are okay, because if we see now rejection again and more buying coming in, you may take here the long with the thing that they first have to go again above this low volume node area around 13. That means, okay, only some little profit. Of course, some probability that they're going back then into the value. Due to the fact that the value is kind of broad today, that means from 14 to 22, this is 8 ticks. For me, I will even wait that prices coming back and accepting with pullback our 14 area again. If we accept this, then I will look again for the range, for the re-entering the 2 days main distribution. We then have a high probability that we at least from the 14 getting to the 20, to the 19, and also to the edge to the 21, 22. This is a good risk reward, and we have then the buyers on our side. Okay, we have now the pullback, and we want to see now increase of buy volume. That means then that we see an acceptance of this higher area again, and then we have a chance here for the re-entering the range. What we not want to see is increase of sell volume. That would mean that the re-entering the upper value, this here, is then rejected. So let's wait. Showing the footprint, which obviously the super micro picture zoomed in, you can see it better. Price is now pushing again into the volume edge at 8 and at 7 and 8, and now taking some profits. So that means the first re-entering here failed, because the pullback which happened around here was directly not followed by responsive buying, but by sellers. And now they test in the low again. And also remember my hypo number 3 at the 03. We're right now testing the low volume node here from yesterday. There's a little bit of separation from this after this very strong down move caused by the ECB statement. And I said in my hypo number 3, not super risk reward, but at least a try worth if we see acceptance below re-entering the 03, okay? So that means if price is coming back into this 03 area, you see where the lot of liquidity is provided though. If we then pulling back and increasing again selling, you gotta be quick to enter here, because this would be then the cheap price for re-entering with a tight stop here around, and the chance that prices go to the 97 and 94, 95 area, or even at the 91, but more at least this year. But we then have to see that we re-enter this area, because this is the low of the initial balance range from today morning, and it's also the LVN here around separating this pre-market area from this lower distribution. This was built with the strong down move from yesterday ECB. But we need to see strength, pullback and increase in selling volume, and then trying here to get in cheap before they too far away to the down to the target. Right now they're just fighting, and everything is possible that they got rejected and then going back, and I'm not looking here anyway, but for the range long, because there's only a tight risk reward, as I said before, from the 06 area to the 10 means if you get in at the 7 or around, you only have a 2-3 ticks reward. I want to either say the re-entering of this value here, or I want to see, I need to show the trading screen, sorry. I want to either see the re-enter of this value here, means going in, pulling back, liquidity absorption like they tried here, but with the second rejection failed, the pullback failed. I want to see the same, or I want to see that prices getting in with power into this lower distribution, pulling a little bit back, and we see again selling. Then here's a cheap entry. You're not risking very much if you got stopped over the 4-tick stop, and see on the downside you got this profitable targets 97, 94 area. That's what I'm gonna wait, or the pulling back into the main distribution from yesterday means above this 12-ish area. You can see why I'm still, why I, till now I decided not to play here the long, because it's still the selling control level around this area where the liquidity, where the trading now is happening, and that's why I see it's of course it's conservative a little bit more to wait for the trade that it's coming back to this value and then trading it. And the other thing is here then to already reverse these trades here. But for me it just doesn't feel right. So what I have to find out for me is then over time, is this more a strategy emotionally thing that I'm trying to avoid them trades, which would not be good if there is some reasonable chance to make money? Or is it okay, or is it just reasonable that you better wait in the situations, which my gut tells me from my experience of back testing. But as you know, market behavior doesn't change, but the kind of liquidity in the market changes all the time over the year, and so a little bit the place changing, and so some have to find out where then opportunities appear and not. And you just have to be sure, is this self-manipulating, is this emotional cause that you then are trying to avoid a play because you have the problem that you want to avoid risk, of course, and pain. But, consequently executing trades is the most important thing beside of being in control, of course, of your mindset. And then you have to execute all the time and consequently. And right now, that's the thing you have to find out. But if you're only looking from the chart perspective here, we see the first rejection. We see here was the chance people trying to get into the long playing, going back into the value. Once we see that there's volume be built on the downside again, the chance was high that we fall back into the range. That happens. Now we're seeing some signs of rejection. People are trying to get into the long, which I said I don't want to do because I want to see the back testing back into the value. As long we have the separation here in volume. And now you see they failed again. So I tell you, it's better to stick with your plays you have prepared, and then you change slowly and testing back your big picture preparation if you may find new and more plays. I think this is important. They try now with a lot of volume to get lower, and I stay with my play. My play would be if we entering lower area, that means going within. You see that the liquidity is now a little bit taken out. There's still 500 and 400 contracts, but still, I'm stay with this play. Lower than 03 area, that means we going back into this lower distribution. I want to see some pullback, and you can then be quick to find a cheap price with increasing sell volume and try to get quick into this trade. Then you only risk about 3-4 ticks minus, which is absolutely okay if you get them, or you have the chance on the downside here to the 97-94 edge, which means about a 2-to-1 risk reward. If this is not happening, then of course, if you see here the delta divergence, now if they reject again and again, that means sellers cannot go lower, then they will get spit out, and we see a high probability prices then coming back to the 14 area. And this is the big question. This is not a play that I have provided in my setups here with the big picture in context, but if you're interested in, you can backtest this by yourself. The scenario where people trying to get lower, people then also try playing the long, got rejected once, got rejected twice, now again trying to play the sell into the short. You can backtest this. I may too if I found out that on days like this you don't get enough chances. But to be honest, that's not the main thing you have to think about. It's more important to have your mindset and have yourself under control. And as I have now in the big picture only provided this as the next closer trading opportunity would be signs of strength, going lower, pull back, and then we play the long at the short. If these signs don't appear, now look at the footprint. If we can make it through the 3-2-1 here, sticking inside, pulling back, but only if the signs appear. If not, I just stay flat. Okay, now see if we get some pullback, because they already pushed pushing with one bar into the 174.0 level. This is this minor POC at this level. If you get a pullback, then you may get the chance to trade this at least 2 ticks up to the 01 level. Then this would be cheap price, but this time they may not pulling back. We will see. And the pullback doesn't have. Don't want to see in a pullback a harsh buying rejection. Okay, there can be some buying volume, but not as hard as this short attempt was. This is very important. Very, very important. Okay. They pulled back only to the O and then quick continued. So this trade, even though I said that this is the trade I want to trade, like it is so often in the on the short side, is that they are so quick on the short side because people going out of longs, closing position. This is normally going very fast. The short side is a little bit faster, of course, than the long side. Okay, and it's a little bit sad sometimes. Now I feel a little bit being sad, didn't take on the trade, but be aware of these feelings, be honest, feel that. Now, as we reached already the 97, 96 area, I'm not waiting, I'm not gonna handle this as a reshort now if they're pulling back to the 01. Then this would be only a trade for me if we're ranging now, if we accept in this level and ranging now. It was too quick. You see it live. It was hard to get in because price would be too expensive. Look here at the trading window. I said this is the area we see we crossed this volume edge at this moment here with pressure, with increasing volume, and now we only see a pullback to the O level, and then they reached the target already, which means that here this low volume node wasn't tested again. At the moment here was the 03 about. Now we're a little bit lower, and let's see. I only would trade this short again if there was a acceptance of kind of range. If not, that's too risky for me. Why? Because they then have the chance that we see here some excess. Okay, excess. That means that they then after the first time rejecting the lower value and going back to the value we had before above the 05 level. And otherwise I want to see some acceptance here, and then we can think about going into the short again. And yeah, sometimes you're also not getting your place, and if your play is not played the way you want to see it, then you have to think of, is it better? No, this is definitely a recommendation. Then you're definitely not going for your play, or you change your play. But changing means backtesting first, seeing what is the rate if you're getting an edge, and then you have to see if this fits to your emotions. Because thinking of, if you change your play and if it's not fit to your emotions, and may you get it 3 out of 10 times it's only right, and the other times they reject like they do right now and going back upwards, then you may get some lot of losses. Okay, and you have to handle those then, the emotions created by those losses. And that's what I mean. Don't be adaptive within a day changing then your place, but you can be adaptive to your place, but only with the system and the backtesting, and then you can prove that they're right, and then you can bring them into your live game. Alright, see that? That's why I said I don't want to go into it so again into a reshort, because we already reached the target with one try here. Yeah, we reached the target already, and the pullback should have come after we go in with volume through and going back. Klar, okay. And then the move back now is not the entry for me here for the short again, because if they come in back so close and so fast like they did here, then this could be also a sign of rejection. And now we are back and trying to test if we accept this value here again. Alright? That means if what they do now is they entered it, and now we want to see that they pulling back, they have already pulled back, no more selling we want to see. Now pulling back, okay? But if you enter this now with increasing buying volume, you only have a bad risk reward. You see this is a really tight, only 4 tick. So still, just be objective. Risk reward isn't good. The risk reward is only good if we're re-entering the 12-13 area, because then we have the chance to going back in this main distribution and running through it. And right now it isn't. And you see as they using this level again, like here, again, for going into short mode again. And now we have a higher chance that price will test at least the 00, but also maybe the edge here at the 99 level. This is also no trade for me, as I'm not a super scalper, but I want you to prove your eyes and to see that this is right now happening. That they wasn't able to play the long first and now going back to the low side. Now the probability, the edges on your side, that they will test the 00. Alright? Because they already spent some selling again after proving the buyers wrong, going back into this value. This is auction theory. And if their selling already now disappears, that means that they have to go, no matter what, above the 04 or 5 level before this short scenario is dead. Otherwise, it's not dead. It's alive. Now providing liquidity, trying to push higher. Bulls are now trying to go again back into, but short is not dead. Short is dead. So the buyers reconquered this after the pullback and are back in the game and trying to find acceptance now in this area. But this is all little to little plays. I don't like them. And you see this, if you're scalping this, you have to live maybe then with some small losers, and can't be sure if this is a good area from the big picture to play this game anyway. But if you have a play, play it. I mean, if you have an edge and find out this works for you, then do it. No matter what. I'm not the expert for some super scalping setups. I'm still with this. Volume above, then we're looking for the re-enter of this range. But as it is now 10:45, I'm gonna quit now, because now it's about time, because it's already too late for the market to go into this trade, even if it shows up, because then there would be a lack of power be missing so late in the morning. That means that the move usually they're not taken whole up to the whole range, because the probability is very high. Check yourself at the 11 to 12 a time around. Normally they're having problems then to reach the full side, and you then have to be in this trade for an hour or longer. And I don't wanna. I wanna do this. That means that I'm not just let fade it out. We wanna have a look. I'll stay with the trade with this chart here, and discuss the trades then later. And I will be here till 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. And if you have any questions, write me some direct message. And yeah, we will be here, or I will be here for the next 15 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay. As they reach this lower level, we see now that this is about to be some little that this is some excess. You see here in the 15 minutes window here this lag, so that means we played it very quick, this distribution here. We reached the edge at the 97 and then failed to get lower. But at least they played it. This was my hypo 3, but with my own play I couldn't get into it. Anyway, they rejected it now very quick, so to see again from my big picture morning preparation where I said that the 91, 92 level, there was coming this pullback and the buyers back here, people buying into it back, that there's already also the danger that this is the last targets we may see. And that's why I said for the value below 03, look for the short-term short. That's what I said in my hypo 3, with targets 97, 94, and it reaches 96. So it reaches the first target. And then no chance, we see the excess going back up, and now looking for refilling this low volume node, which we obviously now having right here in between. This is now repairing this profile. And if you see then the whole profile, it's about to be repaired and can be then a normal distribution if they fill at first out this middle volume gap. And you can see it also here at my trading window in the minute chart. You see what is this looking like. That means excess on the downside, a stronger. This time it even worked out with the pullback. You see, it hasn't worked out with the pullback. Okay, see, it hasn't worked out with the pullback first, but then retesting, and I said here was the momentum a little bit better for the short side, but only for a short-term scalp. And now, that's why I said I don't take this trade, but anyway, this could have worked out as well. Then I would say, and I'd also say, I wouldn't take on this trade because I don't want to risk this with the short-term changing of buyers. I want to see coming back. Right now they're filling out, and you see that this would be then a normal shape distribution. And if they can build some rangy character here, then maybe the POC of this day before the markets from America influenced coming in before, then we will see some POC somewhere in between the 05 and the 15 level. And filling out and now getting a little bit rangy then. For me, that's it for today. I only had one trade. I didn't refuse to take on another trade for my plays. I just had no opportunity for the long here, which was my still hypo one. But I said we see the lack of a trigger. There was no trigger. I traded this live, and I talked to you live that there was only a short time delta, and as the trigger came, price were already too high. So this is why I didn't get this trade, which then would have been a trade that did not work out. So this would be maybe a trade on scratch or -1 or 2. All right, if you've played it because you got in so quick, I wasn't that quick enough because the trigger they appeared too late. I was sitting here with the 16, I think, if I right, yeah, I think I was sitting here at the 16 but gotten filled. Okay, then I said I'm not gonna take on the long again because we already failed here with the second approach to the long side. Okay, this is chart reading. It's not scientific. That's not signed. Okay, that's why I didn't take on this trade here. And I also told you live at the stream to think the same way. They tried it, they played it, they hold it, and they failed. You're not gonna play the range long again. I always try to play the long if it's coming from the whole other side and made a normal shape here. So then I said we're more in the shortish level, but not in a prepared short level. Remember, there was no hypo to say to trade here. Okay. Then I said, all right, we may come back and find acceptance. And we see this rejection area here, but the problem was there was no rejection signs in delta. But appearing here, finally then at 9:55 and 30 seconds. But at this time here, prices were already too expensive for entering the long with the risk and reward term, because the chances then they're only going here to this edge which was built out around the 22, which they did. They only reached this here. This would be a good trade if you have some other signs or triggers, but to be honest, nobody should have had other triggers, because you see this how delta was pushing lower and lower. And of course I knew that they are trapped, and of course I knew that then there will be the opportunity. I said it live seconds before, but one couldn't get in. So no refusing to take on trades, only one trade for me at this moment. Then I said we wait for either re-entering this this distribution, which was about to happen here, but I also said, look, now we have the pullback, and now boom, delta again started to get into the low. That means no responsive kind of buying. This means this pullback and re-entering failed. No trade. Then I said, if they look now lower, and they did, lower at the 03, remembering my hype 03 was that then is there the possibility we see that they go into target 97, 95, but there was no chance. So here I recognized and I wanted to get into the trade, but as always, or very often, the shorts are very quick. They are really quick, and one could not trade it. And this was the problem then, that I didn't catch up this trade. As this happened, said still advantage for the short, but I'm not gonna play it. It didn't work out. Anyway, now they're refilling, pullback. This time after the failed happens again. Bulls stay in the game. Now they filling out, repairing this profile, becoming now, even as I'm talking, more a normal distribution. So that's for the first 2 hours. Thank you very much for listening. If you have anything you may see better, or if you have new ways of seeing, like some in the plays and trigger, tell me. Would be really cool to get some things how you see it, how your perspective is on this whole picture. And we're still for free. Our service here is still for free. We will be also be free for a lot of things. And this live session, of course, will not go on forever, as this is also some cognitive resources eating, yeah, while trading for me. But we will see what we can do then later in the month, in the future, to keep some service, some kind of paid service then, and make it some paid service alive who's really interested in and want to learn. And this should be seen as educational, just to get better. And we will see where we can then have proven material to get you better. But we don't want to hurry anything. And the first time, we are trader, not teachers. We are trader and not coaches. But if we find something where we think that it could really help you to get this last edge, trading on your mindset, and so we will provide some stuff, but only if we're sure that we can provide some stuff that really helps. We not Matthias and I, we don't want to take money for something this looks good and reads good, and after 2 months you see absolutely that you cannot develop. There is enough trading, entertainment, guys selling stuff. We don't want to do this, but hey, if we can deliver something, you may find an edge and get really better, then we will provide something, and it's up to you then, of course, if you want to take on this packages or not. Right now, as long as you don't hear anything else, we stay in this mode and just want to share. Now we do it for a month as professionals, traders, and want to share this information and don't want to hide anything. You see our live trading, you see every day our big picture preparation, you see how the market then works out, you see then how I interpret and debrief it and taken it back to my hypos and refer to the hypos. I think this is really open. You see our failure. Matthias also as a real full-time trader, which I'm still half-time only in the morning. Matthias even trades, at the afternoon session as a full-time trader. He even provides now his P&L, how he trades. You see it live, and I think this is very transparent. And we want to show you that there's a lot of things people don't talk. What is really important, this is the trading mindset after having a system. And we all know if we don't keep on working on this, and if I don't keep on working on this and being better in my system, in my trading mindset, then I will fail. This can happen every day to me. I have to be patient, and this is what I'm trying to show you, that I'm just be patient and also disciplined, but also with the right trading mindset, with the last sentence is acceptance of your physical sensations, your thoughts and your emotions. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend now. Relax. Hopefully you have some time to relax, and we see you. Glad to see you Monday back. This is Anton Apfel for Manapa Trading.